buddy. Hey.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Very good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So, let me start off by saying this first. As people will see, we are not on melon today. Oh, melon. Oh, great old melon. Ah. So, basically, what happened was I was trying to put the stream together last night for today's show. And every time I would put post or schedule it, I would get an error. Yes, Matt, I was going to. Me and Matt were talking earlier today, and I was going to tell him, but I decided to. A little bit of surprise, a little bit of funny, but anyways. So yeah, I like Lex's background as well. It's pretty cool.
Better than my kitchen.
But I wasn't sure what to do because obviously I've been on StreamYard on people's podcasts, but I've never had to do anything. So except go up in the live. But I was trying to play with it last night to see if it seems pretty simple. I guess seems pretty simple. Seems to be no issue so far. So yeah, so I was trying to do that stream last night. It kept on coming up and kept on giving me an error. It wasn't going up on one channel. Okay, so I fixed that. I updated it, and then I would do the schedule again. There was another page I was having a problem with. So I said to myself, you know what? Screw this. I am so done with Melon. I went over to StreamYard and I got the plan. And here we are today on StreamYard. So we have a different kind of show today.
Yes, we do.
I think we've only done this type of show maybe once or twice. That we did it when I was in the UK or came back from the UK. And but other than that, I'm not sure when else we've done this type of show. So what we're doing today is obviously, if you guys saw the thumbnail, it said Bobby Mackey's and Octagon Hall. Well, this past week, if you don't know, I traveled out to Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and I got the opportunity to meet Adam, Patty, and Raymond. There were a few other people we met as well, and it's true. It's very true. Raymond is exactly the way he is in person that he is online. Exact same. Raymond made a couple of comments during the Bobby Mackey investigation. I go, okay, well, that's Raymond. There he is. There he is. So, but it was a lot of fun. We traveled to Bobby Mackey's and then we did Octagon Hall. So really, I have the people in the back. I have Adam and I have Patty and I have Raymond. There were a few other people. Unfortunately, they can't be here today. But yeah, we traveled to these locations. Unfortunately, Adam couldn't come to Bobby Mackey's. He had a funeral to attend. But me and Patty drove down to Bobby Mackey's, and we spent the night with Raymond. And so we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about Bobby Mackey's and Octagon Hall, and everybody has their own opinion about Bobby Mackey's. I definitely have my own, and obviously Patty as well. As I said, Adam wasn't with us that night, but he has been to Bobby Mackey's in the past. So he definitely has his own opinion about that. So that's what today's show is going to be. We're going to be talking about Octagon Hall and Bobby Mackey. So what's been going on with you, Lex?
Yeah, not really a lot this week. I went back. I've just come off my holiday, so I've been back at work for the first time this week. But I've been chilling all week, so it's been nice and easy for me. Yeah.
Are you glad that I switched over to StreamYard?
It makes no difference to me. I except for the fact I can change my background so you don't see my kitchen in every video. So this looks nicer than the last lot. So
yeah, it definitely does. Now, what I do like, well, I will say this about StreamYard. What I do like in the corner where it says live and then it says how many viewers are there. In actual fact, right beside that, it has the thumbs up on Facebook, and it also has the little heart there as well, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
I'm liking it so far, and it's pretty simple to show the comments. That's pretty simple. Dom's in the room. Hello, Dom. People keep. I don't know if people. Oh, look who's somebody else came in the room as well. Is in the back, and that would be Adam's wife. She came to us with came to Octagon Hall with us, so we'll get her opinions. And to let everybody know, Laura is a skeptic.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's always good to have on the show. I like having on the show. And so what I'm going to do now, yay, StreamYard, yes. Yes, Tanner, StreamYard. I finally made the switch. Melon is going to get a nasty email from me tomorrow, unfortunately. 2 years of problem after problem after problem. They should be fixed. But anyways, so why don't we bring up everyone and we can get the show started, unless you have anything you want to say.
No, I'm excited to get into it.
I think you do.
No,
there was a comment that you made up on Twitter last week, and I think you should talk about that.
Okay, so again, it's an assumption. It's just the timing makes it right. So if you watched this show last week, we will know that I made some very funny comments about mythology and his doctored video and his fake video that he didn't take the edit out of him telling his friends how to kick the door. So he did. He's been tweeting about it all week, and then apparently like the police showed up. So I quote tweeted him, and I was like, "Is this the one where you obviously faked your video?" And then he decided to. So then he's put up a comment about haters, like literally 10 minutes after the stream. And I'm taking it as I think someone may have let him know that people are saying bad stuff about him, mainly me, because I keep doing it. And so now every time he brings up this haunted abandoned house he has on Twitter, I just keep commenting on it. And I'm gonna, and because it's fun, because he can take it clearly. But I mean, the comment he put up proves that he's only in it for the money, because he's like, I'm just gonna do this to get my paycheck, as if that's a win. And then obviously, unfortunately, he's got gullible little people in his comment section who are like, "Oh, don't listen to them. We love your videos and they're real." And it's like, well, no, they're not. Because, I told you why it wasn't last week. The video is still there for you to check it out. So,
you know what I think we should do every week now?
What's that?
I should put something together, like a little promo thing, and then sometime during the show, I will flash it up there, and it will say something like faker, and then we talk about a faker. After that,
I could do it all day. If I'm not working on my own videos, I'm watching the fake channel videos, so I can put together how they're faking it and enjoying myself at the same time. But it's fun.
So I'm not sure who this. Hi, Brian. This is Jackson from Canada. Same thing as you. Cool.
You don't understand it, do you?
No, I don't. What does that
mean? Neither do I. Sorry, Jackson. Can you elaborate for us, please?
Yes, please. Could you? And as far as I know, the only issue that Matt has with StreamYard is this.
Well, yeah, it seems like a really important issue to deal with. I think the Power Crew podcast, I think if they did a cast change, it might actually take off.
So what do you think? I think we should do that. I think that should be a segment in our show, like maybe near the end.
Just do the fakest thing of the week.
Yeah, like at the end of the show, once the guest is gone, then I put up this, like I make this short little video, and it's like fakers, and have some music with it or something like that. And then every week we call it a faker.
And I mean, eventually we're going to run out of who to talk to, because I'm watching another video later on where more proof of Jasko scripting his videos. So
well, I think he should be the first one. What do you think?
He could do. I need to watch his video though, but yeah, I'll definitely have a look at it.
Yeah, so we call him out.
Yeah, I apologize if
we call out somebody.
Yeah, I'll do it. I apologize if there's anyone in the chat who actually watches these channels and enjoys them, but I don't.
Lex enjoys cutting them up.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start doing that more.
Just pointing out when they do dumb shit. Like when you leave an edit in of you telling someone how you're faking the video. And it's the second time Mo's done it. So I told you about it last year when we started this show with him his friend kicked the door open too early and he left the edit in the video.
Yeah. And what about the video that he did on Bailey's Bridge, where in his video there were 3 people and the guy that he was with had 4 people.
I know. I'd have to have a list of who I'd talk about because we got him, Jasko, Omar, Jody, who I've spoken about more than I care to at this point.
Yeah.
Lou Rock. How many more people could we get? There's loads.
Oh, there's loads.
Sam and Colby, Mindseed, Twin Paranormal.
Mindseed I'm a little disappointed with, to be honest.
That really upset me because I based my entire way I did filming my videos on how they did it. And then I went back and rewatched everything and found out, okay. And they did the same thing where they left an edit in where they did a replay, but they called out someone else's name in the replay. And I was like, oh, it's fake.
I was on one of Patty's lives one night, and I made a comment about Sam and Colby, and somebody in the comments was very unhappy with me.
I was gonna say you have to be careful when you criticize Sam and Colby because all their 13-year-olds who watch them will gun you down. Because I put a tweet about them a while ago, and someone tried to tear me to shit in the comments, and I was like, I don't.
So I think this girl was probably about 14 years old, and supposedly Sam and Colby are her good friends. Well, if they're your good friends, then you know they're faking videos.
I know. Why put yourself out there?
So that comment was said. They left the show after I made that comment. But I know for a fact, and I have proof that they at least faked one video that I know, because I can't really say the other ones. We know they do, but I know one they did for sure. Actually, sorry, that's wrong. I know 2 because they did it at Lemp Castle as well. Yeah. So, okay, so let's move on with the show. I think we've kept the people in the back long enough. And the great thing about today's show is, as people know, if they've watched our show, Raymond likes to make fun of Lex. Well, now he gets to do it in video. So
he's been on camera with us before, Bryan.
What?
We've had him on the show before.
I know, but this. But
last time his camera was like a potato, though, wasn't it? He's looking better today.
Yes, he is. So, okay. So in no particular order, I'm just going by the way it looks on the bottom here. The first person I'm going to bring up, I don't have to really introduce her. I think everybody knows that she is the paranormal queen of YouTube, and she's a fantastic woman. I got to really get to know her a lot better over the 4 days, and we spent a lot of time in the car to go into Bobby Mackey's, almost 13 hours. So we got to know each other really, really well. So let me introduce you to Patty Adams from the G Team Paranormal.
Hello.
Isn't that true? 13 hours in the car, right?
Yes, 13 hours.
Yeah, 13 hours in the car.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And then on top of that, when you really don't know where you're going, it seems to take a little bit longer because you're a little more careful. I think the first 5 minutes, though, we made a couple of wrong turns.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, because my GPS wasn't talking to me, remember? I was so used to it speaking to me, and I was waiting to hear it, and I wasn't really looking at it. And then when I realized I missed my turn, because it kept saying rerouting and make a U-turn and all this shit, that's when I realized that bitch isn't talking.
Yeah. And it's really weird because the fact that it wasn't talking all the way there, almost all the way there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it clicked in.
Yep.
And started talking.
That was weird.
And then started talking on the way back, which we thought was really weird. So the next person I'm going to introduce, and by the way, Patty, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. And hello, everybody in the chat.
Yeah, a lot of people that watch you are in the chat.
I see a lot of my friends in there.
Yeah. Lex, are you British? You
sound like British.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm British. Yes.
Yeah. So the next person I'm going to bring up, and really this guy needs no introduction. This guy has to have his phone glued to his hip, for God's sakes, because he's always in everybody's show, supporting everybody. This is probably like I've seen a lot of different supporters out there. There's a lot, but this guy is right up there in the top on supporting everyone, and he's just a great guy. Yes.
So he's supportive to everyone but me. There we go.
Well, he is supportive, but he's doing it in a funny way. Here's Raymond Newsom.
Oh, Lex, it's all out of love.
Yeah, I know.
It really is.
It's
and
like
I don't know what you're talking about. I always look fabulous. Thank you.
I will let people know as well. If you don't know, Raymond has started his own paranormal group. It is called Newsom Paranormal. So go over and definitely check out Newsom Paranormal on YouTube. If you guys can do that, that'd be great. He's going to be coming out with videos, and look forward to seeing his Bobby Mackey video. I know he had some problems with some stuff, and we'll get into that afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So the next person I'm going to bring up, it was one of our hosts. I think we should do ladies first, to be honest. What do you think? I think we should do ladies first. So we're going to bring up, and now Adam's over there. You're going first. So I'm going to bring up Laura, Adam's wife. She disappeared. I'm not going to bring her up.
Oh,
I think she hit something. So I'll bring up. I think
she ran away.
So what I'll do is I'll bring up Adam first, and obviously a lot of people know about Adam. Obviously he really started getting to a little bit known because he was on Patty's Live for reasons. And if you can, everybody, if you haven't seen those videos, go over on YouTube and check out those videos with Adam. They're great. Unfortunately, what happened to him and his family is very, very upsetting. And go over and watch those videos and support him, because this guy's great. Him and his wife were amazing, great host, and he's become a good friend. And hopefully, he's going to do some wonderful things with his channel. And his channel is called, I believe, Stand 2 Paranormal. Is that correct, Adam? I believe it is. So let's bring Adam up. There he is.
That's correct.
That is correct. So what I was thinking of, because I saw Stand 2. Now, are you going to have the number 2? You just
I'm going to leave it just like dash 2, just like it is right there. Just take away the Adam.
Okay. So what does the Stand 2 mean?
So Stand 2 is a military term. Stand 2 is a military term. Basically, from dusk to dawn, that's when you're most vulnerable for, to be attacked. And they tell you to stand 2, like basically be ready, be alert. And, if you do get attacked, take it head on, charge it head on. So that's what I do as a paranormal investigator. And I figured what better way to put it,
Yeah, it's great. This person all the way from France.
Wow. Hello, Olivia.
That's awesome. Thank you for joining us today. The next person I'm going to bring up, and this one is the skeptic, and we like skeptics. I think paranormal investigators do like skeptics. At least I do. I have a few of them in my life that I wish I could change, but I think we might have changed her a little bit at Octagon Hall.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. So let's introduce, and she actually put she actually put the skeptic in her little she actually put Laura the skeptic in there.
I love it.
Oh, hey, Laura.
You know what? I think that's a new new YouTube channel right there. Laura the skeptic.
There we go.
Just so you know, your video's on. So
I know. I'm not
she
a
was like,
dummy.
my phone messed up. When you said you were going to bring her in, she goes, I was like, here you go. She goes, my phone messed up. So she's off that way.
So somebody else who was with us, she's in the room. Unfortunately, she couldn't come up today, and that's Vicky. She is out boating today, so she's watching while she's floating.
Hi, hi, Vicky.
Where you
That's
at,
awesome.
Vicky?
Enjoy yourself out there.
Yeah, that's great.
I thought
So,
you were friends.
Laura, thank you for coming up. I know this is probably something you don't normally do, but
No.
I think personally, I'm glad you're up here because I think it's good to have somebody that is a little bit of a skeptic coming into a place, especially like Octagon Hall, where obviously a lot happened in those. And you know what? We were talking about it the other day on how long we were there. We were actually there for 14 and a half hours.
Wow.
You want me
Yeah.
to tell them how reasonably priced 14 and a half hours is? And
Yes.
I'm being serious, y'all.
It's cheap.
$300. That's
Yep.
it.
That's it. Yep.
$300 will get you
Such a good
14
deal.
and a half hours and go.
And it's funny because there was, like, even before we started the investigation, we did the tour first, and we did the walkthrough, and then we went and got something to eat, and we were gone for a good hour and a half before we started our investigation. And then I'm not sure if Patty did, but I know Adam did. He set up a still camera down in the basement, in the one room where Mary Elizabeth supposedly died. And I've gone through some of that footage, and I think, who was I sitting with? I can't remember. Oh, I was sitting with Laura. And we were going through some of that footage, and we kept on hearing some loud noises in the basement. So that was pretty cool. That we also heard a cricket that was down there as well, and that was quite annoying, to be honest.
I heard that cricket. I left the camera rolling upstairs when we left to go eat, and that's
you did.
That's the footage I sent you earlier.
Okay,
that's what that is.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be a really, really good idea to do, because obviously we spent some time together this week, and we all have our own opinions on both locations. I'm kind of curious to get Patty, to get Patty perspective on Bobby's, because I have my own opinion, and I know Adam and Raymond do as well. And obviously Raymond's been there a lot more than us. So he's going to obviously have a lot more encounters. But overall, what was your opinion on Bobby Mackey's, Patty?
Well, I think it's definitely been overstated, I guess you could say, or over. What's the proper word to use?
Over embellished.
Exaggerated.
Yeah, exaggerated. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think it has been. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not haunted. I mean, I believe there is something there, but I mean, I've heard stories from people I even used to hang around with that said they got pushed down the stairs, they were possessed, and all these things happened. And, knowing the type of people they were, that they faked everything anyway, I kind of had my doubts, So, but I think a lot of people see these things and then they go in there and they're thinking, well, I'm going to have to act like something happened too, because everybody else is. We don't do that though. So I don't know. I mean, I was worried to even go there. Well, last year I had an opportunity to go there, and I was worried about going because of some of the things people were telling me. But then, it's nothing like what I've always heard. I don't know. I don't want to say too much and piss people off, but I just didn't think it wasn't what I expected. But I liked it, and I'm glad I got to go, and I liked it. But I don't know if I caught anything on camera until I watched the footage back. But I don't know. I just didn't think it was. I think it's been over exaggerated. That's my personal opinion. Because I do know some of the people that have been there, and I know that they over exaggerate everything anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
But like I said, paranormal doesn't always happen either. Every single time you go somewhere, and I do know that. I'm aware of that. But once we watch our footage back, then we'll know more. I think we'll know if we actually did catch something, significant.
Lex, you want to ask anything?
I think that's a great point that you've said about people go into these places after seeing the exaggerated videos, and then they feel like they're implied to do it.
Yep.
Do you think this is like an opportunity to people listening to you is to have a really, is it important to go into these places with a completely empty mindset?
Yep. Definitely. Don't listen to what everybody else has said. I mean, my doctor is a big fan of mine, and she watches all my videos and has for quite a while. And she was scared for me to go there. She tried to talk me out of going. She was terrified for me to go. And I'm like, listen, I had to talk to her, it's no big deal. Trust me. These people fake stuff, even those big TV channels, I think they embellish things a little bit too. So, so I text her and let her know that I'm alive. I'm okay. Everything's fine. Nothing happened. I'm not possessed. Everything's fine. So
I find it interesting, and I know there was somebody else there that night with us, along with Vicky, and there was Jeff who was there too. Do you ever find when you're going into these locations, and if you have a tour guide, do you think the tour guide is really told by the owners to really hype it up, to tell stories that might not necessarily exist?
Most definitely. Yep.
And
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Patty, when a tour guide is, embellishing it even more than really it should be? And I understand why they do it, but at the same time, you're like with Jeff there that night, he told a lot of stories. And I know he was investigating with us, and he's obviously been there a lot, but I just find a lot of these tour guides and I've seen a lot of tour guides through haunted places, and it's basically the same thing. Like when I went to White Hill Mansion in New Jersey back in April, the stories that was coming out of this guy's mouth were like jaw-dropping. And it's like, and I always find it amazing when they said, oh yeah, I ran into an apparition upstairs of a little child and it said hi to me, and it looked like it was a real person. Well, maybe it's just me, but in that particular moment, wouldn't you be pulling out your phone and going, hello, and
depends on when it happened. I mean, with some things, these people that have been there, like Mr. Bear, he's been there for 30 plus years. This could have been whatever he experienced. This isn't Bobby Mackey's, this is Octagon Hall. Some of the things he may have experienced may have happened pre-cell phone, pre-camera phone days at least, because
could have been at a time where we didn't always have a phone on us or a camera on us, right? This day and time, we always have something. Most people do.
So do you think they're just doing it because if they tell the stories or they tell their stories, then you're going to go out there and oh, you should have heard some of the stories that he was saying. And
exactly. And that's why they do it. It's, and the thing is too, is a lot of these curators or whatever your tour guides, they're also going on what they've been told. They could have, by investigators that have been there investigating, and they're embellishing. They may be embellishing things. Maybe they really are catching some of these things or whatever. But they're reporting back to these tour guides and letting them know. So now he's repeating those things, whether it's true or not. He's, so he's got all this stuff that he's heard from all these people,
I do have a question on that, by the way, for tour guides. I know that when Bryan was here with me, we made a point of every location we went to of not being told anything. Just show us around and we'll work it out ourselves and then we'll figure it out later. Did the tour guides go into this stuff with you before you started investigating?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
do you think that influenced your investigation and could have potentially hindered you while you were there?
I was going to say we had one blind. I'm sorry, babe. Go ahead. We had one blind person, but yeah, go.
I kind of said something to Adam when I started because, of course, I haven't had anything really kind of, jump scare me or anything like that, which is why I tend to fall into that skeptic side. But I even told Adam, the Bear was great. He was a great host. He was a great tour guide. He had so many interesting historical stories and real, factual stories that actually happened, in the time and space of Octagon Hall. But, he also was excited, I'm sure, he had lots of stories of him just sitting around organically listening to it without all the technology, which I find interesting in and of itself because it's truly wanting to listen or hear or see without needing to spread it, and show it, which I think would probably merit maybe more results, based on just the fact that you're just there for yourself type of thing. But there was a point where I told Adam, I said, I almost wish we didn't know as much as we knew, that he didn't tell us as much as he told us about things like Mary Elizabeth and some other things, because I think, and this is the skeptic part of me, so don't stone me or anything here, but this is the part where I think a little bit of mind over matter comes into play when you know things like names or events that may have taken place, that your mind can sometimes take that evidence and twist, you kind of like predestine yourself to hear what you're going to hear. And so sometimes I wish, like we got a little less information or we really went in there blindly, because on the one point, it's good to have some facts so you know who you can kind of reach out to type of thing. On the other hand, I think it maybe sways information you get, that you think, oh, well, yeah, he was supposed to have, been shot in the stomach, which was one of the things I thought was interesting. In one of the rooms, the little girls' room in Octagon Hall, there was a pedophile was supposedly there. And the owners of the house or whoever was in the house shot and killed him in the stomach, is what we were told by the tour guide. And then when we did get that evidence from that room, and I don't know what all the instruments are called. I probably get them confused. Spirit box. So it came in and it said what we heard as knife, lynch, throat. So, and that was about somebody who we heard a whole different story of how they passed. So that was kind of interesting. It kind of flipped the switch a bit, But I think sometimes more information is not always best. If you go in there a little bit more blind, you can kind of find, and then later when you find out, oh, what you heard ties into what may have happened, then it becomes more of a Easter egg kind of a thing.
Yeah, so I 100% agree with you. I think pareidolia exists, where you really stretch. You get it's a lot worse when people are using ovuluses, and you hear a story at the beginning about how someone did this, and the mental gymnastics you end up doing to tie the words you've got to something you've been told. And when you hear it back, it sounds really bad. There are sometimes you really see the stretch. And that's why I ask, because I prefer, obviously there are some locations, Bobby Mackey's definitely is like one of the most historical paranormal buildings we've heard about. There's going to be things you already know. And that's why I think that's where tour guides kind of slip it a little bit. I think they can still hype it at the end,
Yeah.
or if they share with you at the end. But I think that's the damaging thing, is the overhype at the beginning, and influencing what's going forward. Yeah,
I'm actually interested. Sorry, Adam. I'm actually interested in Raymond's opinion on Bobby Mackey's, because Raymond has been there quite a bit, and he doesn't live too far. I think he's about 2.5 hour drive from there, I think he said. So how many times have you been there, Raymond?
I have been there 4 times in 1 year.
Okay. So you're a great person to ask this question. What is your opinion about Bobby Mackey's? Where do you think it sits, or where it should sit on the paranormal scale?
Bobby Mackey's is just a really fun, cool place to set up. But the thing about Bobby Mackey's is you're going to get more evidence just setting cameras up and just sitting there and hanging out, because it's a bar. I mean, that's what it is. I've never felt anything negative there, and it's just a bar. And when you act like it's a bar, you get more evidence, and people don't realize that. Yeah. Like, I set up a camera way before we ever started investigating, and they started hearing voices from down by the pool tables. They're like, well, there's his camera. And I actually caught the voices that they heard, because I just had the camera sitting there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I found it really interesting during the night, because we were down in the basement in the pit, and I actually stood in the pit and did an EVP session. And it sounds like we captured some stuff through the SB7. What I found really, really interesting, because I've heard this happen before, Patty asked a question. Is there a portal to hell here? Because that's what it's known for. And we actually captured an EVP saying no. Now, I get it. And people are going to say, oh, well, they can lie. But if we're capturing no, and then somebody else that's been there and is also captured no, then shouldn't that kind of tell us that there's not really anything? No. The answer is no. One thing I didn't understand, and I know Jeff talked about it, me and Patty read it on the way down to Bobby Mackey's, the whole Pearl Bryan thing really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I know they put... Okay, I'm going to tell you. This was a woman. This is what I didn't understand. And even Jeff, he added more to the story. What I didn't understand, this woman was killed 2.5 miles away from the bar. And people know she was killed, but why were her bones taken back to the bar and buried in the pit? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. And obviously they know she died, so why would they be able to take the bones back to the bar and bury them?
I don't think that actually happened. I told you we did our research before we went there, and I was telling you, she didn't die there, and
she died 2.5
it was like 2.5 miles away. And from what I understood, from what we had dredged up, it looked more like a botched abortion than anything else, not like an actual, full-on murder, like a...
No, that's what it said in the... That's what it said in the... she was murdered. It didn't say anything about abortion or anything like that, but... or she died from abortion. I don't know, but it just said she was murdered 2.5 miles away from the bar.
I don't think she has anything to do with the place. And they just tried... This is the stretch of trying to make it attached to this location. I don't think they ever took her bones.
And that actually happens a lot with locations.
Yeah.
And
You'll
it's
have
interesting.
people murdered like 30 miles away, and they're like, oh, well, they're attached to this place. No, they're not.
Yeah, and I actually said that to Jeff, who was with us that night. I said, how is it possible that something that happened that was 2.5 miles away be tied into this place. It just doesn't make any sense. And then he told me the story about the bones were brought back there and buried in the pit. That absolutely makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm not saying, maybe that's something he was told. But I just didn't get it. There was a lot of things that I didn't understand about that place. First things first, that place is a complete fire hazard. First things first.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
So
fire
there's wires
extinguisher.
everywhere. There's wires under the floor that are exposed. There's wires in the ceiling that are exposed. It's like the floor is like obviously uneven because the foundation underneath is probably gone to shit. And it's just a walk-in. I'm surprised the fire inspector has not been in there and said, you know what, we are shutting you guys down until you fix this. Now, I was saying that for the amount they charge to do an investigation, it probably pays off the cops. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So because for 4 hours or 5 hours, what you're getting is nothing but stories that we don't know if they're true, and stories that have been embellished. Before we get to you, Adam, my personal opinion is that place, and like Raymond and Patty have said, it's been overhyped, overdone, over embellished. And the reason all these stories are going out is because they need to book it, because they're only open twice a week.
Yeah.
So and they wanted full every single night, because as you look at the schedule for Bobby Mackey's, it's basically booked almost every night except for the Fridays and Saturdays when the bar is open. I'm even surprised that bar is allowed open, to be perfectly honest, on Friday and Saturday nights, because that place, and I'll say it again, there's no way in hell that place would pass any type of code.
Well, they probably got their certificate of occupancy years ago.
Say again, Raymond.
I said, in their defense, I've been in scarier bars, so
yeah.
Well, they probably got their certificate of occupancy 20 years ago, and they've never come back to check it out. As long as they just keep paying, to renew their business license every year, they're like, all right, well, we know you passed 20 years ago, so you're still good.
Yeah, and it's funny because me and Patty were talking about it on the way. We were both a little worried about going there for the amount of stuff we've heard and seen and stuff like that. And
tell them about how you were reading about it, and there's no proof to back up any.
Yeah,
of these claims anyway.
We read all. Like I went to obviously Google. I went to Wikipedia, and all the information was told in there right near the bottom of it. Nothing of it could be substantiated. Nothing of it. And they couldn't find records. They couldn't find anything. They couldn't even find records of this pearl. They couldn't find records of the Johanna, which I was saying her name wrong all night. I was saying Joanna. It was actually Johanna. They couldn't find any records about her. Nothing was substantiated.
And that was on Wikipedia.
And that was on Wikipedia. And I think, and I said it to Jeff that night, I think it's one of those places where the old kids game, and I said this a couple of times during the night, everybody sits in a circle. You're told one story. By the time it gets to the end, it's changed 15 times. And I think the real problem is that we've had TV shows go in there and really hype it up to something that's just not there. No, not Ghost. For the love of God, I'm not
the Ghost TV shows. You're not telling me that they're lying as
they
well.
would never do that.
Now you're talking Illuminati. Theories,
I reject the idea that Ghost Adventures is fake. I reject it.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I was excited to go. I was excited and nervous to go there only because of it's famous. It's got a lot of rich history, and it's but when I walked in, I went, "This is it."
I know.
This is it. It's like and Vicky said the same thing. It was a lot of fun to go to, and it was a check off my bucket list.
Yep,
you
same
know,
here.
and yeah, and
Will I ever go back? Probably not. I
no,
don't have no
no,
desire to go back there.
no. And
Save your money,
I
Raymond.
get
Yeah.
you, Adam. What is you've obviously been there before? What is your opinion about Bobby Mackey's?
Okay, so my opinion about Bobby Mackey's, there is something there, just like Raymond said, and just like you all experienced. There's something there, but it's not evil. It's not malicious. And if you do treat it like a bar, yeah, I love that
Literally,
Matt, that's bad.
I mean,
the best investigator in the world. That guy. I'm just saying.
You know, we caught EVPs. You saw the shadow figure that I caught on camera. There is something there, but you don't need to drudge it up to something that it's not to be able to enjoy the history of that place. And that's where I get upset with it. And I get it. A TV show needs ratings, so they're going to go there and they're going to make it. If they're not catching what they want, they're going to catch what they want for entertainment value. But when you get there and you expect more, when I went there, I was a little nervous, and then kind of like you, I went in there and I'm like, this is it. Like I was expecting, a demon to, come up out of the hole and pull me in and have his way with me and send me back out. I mean, that's the way they make it out. And no, it's it is haunted, but I like Raymond's idea of the way he goes about it.
Yeah,
like a bar.
I have a question for you, Adam.
Yes,
do you find? Because I like what you've both said, that it is haunted, but it's not bad, and people are just portraying them differently. Do you find that? Because to me, I find that quite disrespectful to the legitimate spirit that is in there, and that no one's finding out who it is because it's under the guise of this demon stuff. That's the I've got Bobby Mackey's pages open up on my computer because obviously I'm not able to go there, so I'm reading about it, and everything is. It's every sentence has the word demonic in it. Do you get upset by the kind of lack of knowledge behind the actual person there?
Yes, because it doesn't. You don't get answers, and it sends people in there on pins and needles. And with every YouTube video you watch, everybody wants to be. I feel like they don't want to go in there and say they didn't experience this demonic activity. So that leads to the faking of yet another video.
Exactly.
And it takes away attention.
Good
the
point,
truth
Adam.
about that place needs to be known. Whoever's haunting that place, or whoever's I don't want to say haunting, but whoever's stuck there, their story needs to be told. Their actual story, not this fake demon scratching my back. It takes away, and it's almost insulting to whoever is there. And that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Someone had asked me a question about a place that I would recommend for putting some time into or whatever. I would say there's a couple places that I've been to that is legit so haunted that legit, when I'm using that word, I know a lot of people use it because they're really fake and they use the word legit to make themselves look Anyway,
we get it. Yeah, we get it.
So, but like it's in Tennessee and it's in the Smoky Mountains and it's called Elkmont. It's where all those old abandoned cabins are from way back that you can actually go walk through and tour. It's free to go, but it's way up in the mountains. It's a heck of a drive. And you have no cell phone service when you're there. Vicki Mercer has been there with me, and she can vouch for this. You can literally hear disembodied voices. Things move. We had the door move a couple of times. We had a door slam. Just a lot of things. And I've been there probably 4 times, and each time it's always the same type of stuff, like disembodied voices. You can sometimes hear them with your ears, but your camera always picks it up. You really don't even need to run the spirit box. You just walk around and be real quiet with your camera and you're going to pick stuff up. That's a good place. It's called Elkmont. And then also down here in Florida, the Jasper Jail, it was kind of the same way. We experienced lots of things there, whistling upstairs in the middle of the night. like a guard was walking around whistling. You know, we thought there was a real person that broke into the jail. My daughter woke me up and said, "Mom, wake up, wake up. There's whistling." And I heard the whistling. It was just like, you know, something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. So we went looking and there was nobody there.
Okay, so let's take a step back for a second there. She woke you up. You were sleeping there?
Yeah, that's a nice little, oh yeah.
You were tired?
I was
No.
it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, guys, and we had been there since, so we were there we were there 2 nights because it's only $300 for 2 nights. So from Friday to Sunday, it's $300. So it was probably on the second night where, you know, it's like, you know, gotta get some sleep, you know. And they have a nice room with a bed and plenty of room to lay mattresses or cots, whatever, air mattresses down, so that you can catch a little shut eye. And then they have an air conditioner in there and stuff, and it's very comfortable room. So that's kind of where everybody, you know, it's where everybody hangs out. If you want to rest, that's a good spot to do it. And so yeah, we were, after the second night, we had to sleep.
I get it.
And it's like 3.5 hours from my house, so I didn't want to go. You know what I mean? We stayed the whole weekend. So yes, I was asleep.
Great. That's great. So my personal opinion of the Bobby Mackeys, I said it earlier, it's overdone, overhyped, over-embellished, and all those wonderful things. I think it's more dangerous in the parking lot than it is in the actual bar. The reason I say that, because I think Jeff told us, and I think Raymond told us, that there was a shooting there about a month prior. Was it a month prior or 2 weeks?
Actually, it was in May. They had 2 different shootings 2 weeks before we went in May.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I think it's and he also
it
said
happens all the time.
Yeah, he also said there's a train track in the back. When if you go past that, I guess there's a path or something, and a lot of homeless people are along the lake there. So it's not recommended to go down that path. But I think it's more dangerous outside the bar than inside the bar. My personal opinion. Is it worth going just because of the history? Yes, I think it is. But if you're going there to catch demons, poltergeists, all those wonderful things, good luck. You're not going to get that, and you will get something. But I think at the end of the day, is it worth that amount of money for only 5 hours? And if you're only going to see it for the history, maybe. You're going there to see paranormal, definitely not. Yeah. Definitely not. It's definitely not worth the amount of money. I think what is it, $500, $600?
$600
for 5 hours.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, and
wow.
Also,
you know,
right before we went, there was a murder in the parking lot there. I think I had told you about that. Like, when I went several years ago, you know, it wasn't too long, you know, before we went, that, you know, they were telling us that somebody got shot out in the parking lot and killed. And it's like,
wow,
you know.
Yeah, it's that's Rosanna there, and Stephen made the comment. This comment here, only for 5 hours. Yes, it's definitely. That's sorry for Bobby Mackey's. I'm sorry.
That's 2 nights at Octagon.
I waited a long time to go to your place, but what's that?
I said that's 2 nights at Octagon Hall for 5 hours at Bobby Mackey's.
It is. Yeah.
It's a place I definitely wanted to see and experience. But would I go again? No. Everybody else. Patty, would you go again?
No.
Adam, Raymond, we know you're going again. You've been there 4 times this year.
I go all the time. That's fine. Yeah.
Adam, would you spend that money and go again?
No. I wouldn't.
And Laura, would you stop him from spending that money and going?
I mean, if he wants to go, he wants to go. But is it an open working bar when you're there investigating? That'll change the mind.
Yeah.
Well, then never mind. No, you can't go. You can go back to Octagon.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, Vicky. I feel bad. Raymond only asked for $50 a piece, so I wasn't sure. I didn't know it costed you $600.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, whenever I set the price originally, we had more people going, and then the people kept dropping out, and I wasn't going to change that on everybody at the last minute.
That's so
So
sweet of you.
It was very,
Yeah.
very sweet of him. Raymond's a really nice guy. Really,
Yeah,
really
he
nice
is.
guy in person. He's a really, really super nice guy on video. He's not so nice on chat. I'm kidding.
especially to like,
How far away from
Especially to
Clarksville
Lex.
are you, Raymond?
what is it?
How far away from Clarksville are you? Do you live in Kentucky?
Yeah, I live right next to Ashland.
Okay.
So
We'll chat after this. We might be able to
okay.
get together and do some investigating. So
Yeah, he's up there near you.
I know one trip I plan on taking in April is to Hartford City, Indiana, and it's going to cost less for 2 nights than it was for Bobby Mackey's.
Mhm.
And I'll get 3 locations out of it.
nice.
You know, this reminds me what Vicky said here. This reminded me of a funny moment that happened when we first arrived. So I'm walking up and Patty's walking up. We're walking up and I don't know if Patty was in front of me or behind me, but Raymond like
Behind you.
asked for me and gave me a big hug and completely ignored Patty.
He did.
It was like Raymond. I was like,
I was ready to
wait,
hug
there's
him, and
somebody
all of a
else with
sudden
us.
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Well, then I tackled her too. So
It
Guilt
just
trip.
reminded me of a funny moment. So
Yeah.
I will say at the end of all that, Bobby Mackey's didn't live up to the hype, and definitely not worth the money. Sorry, Bobby Mackey's, but that's just the way it is.
We're just
And
keeping it real. It's our opinion. Everybody has
it's
their
exactly.
opinion, and we're entitled to our opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I hope they don't come after us and say something. But
Well, it's
I
the
believe in
truth.
the
I
states.
spend
It's called
enough
freedom
money
of
there, they'll be
speech, and it's
fine.
the
Okay.
First Amendment.
First.
So
Doesn't
I
apply to
spend
you
enough
as a
money there,
Canadian.
they'll be fine.
okay, well, no, but we have freedom of speech here in Canada
That's
as part
right.
of the Charter of Rights of
Mhm.
Canada. So other than that, so the next one, Octagon Hall.
Woo!
Where do we begin with Octagon Hall?
During the tour.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Even during the tour, we were already hearing stuff. And,
Mhm.
Before we even made it to the basement, we had made it to the main level. I think we started upstairs, correct? On the tour.
We started on the main level and then went upstairs and then came
Went
back down to
upstairs.
the basement. Yeah.
Well, but while he was still, I think before we had made it to the basement, you were still filming. And I'm like, I hear this noise in the basement. I'm like, Bryan, trying not to be so obvious about it, but I'm like, come here. And I had been there once before, not to investigate, but to talk about doing an investigation. And the prior owner, his name was Billy Bird. He passed away a couple of years ago. Greatest guy, sweetest man you could ever meet. And like right up there with Bear, his grandson's running it now. But when Billy and I were walking down into the basement, like I came to a dead stop and he came to a dead stop, like right at the same time. As kind of like I looked at him. He's like, "Yes, you just saw what I just saw." One of those things. And I'll go ahead and tell you what I saw. I saw a shadow dart into another room, and the way the sun was and everything else, there was no way it was his shadow, my shadow, anything like that. We were the only ones there. And Octagon Hall is one of those places that always comes up as one of the most haunted locations in the United States. Depending, I've got a Time magazine that has it on the cover. You see it on TV shows. The factual data behind that place, the stuff that you can actually go prove, as far as Mary Elizabeth, that did happen.
Yeah.
She did, unfortunately, she got severely burned in the basement and lived a few agonizing days before she passed away on that property. So, the house Was a Civil War hospital, and also a safe haven for the Confederates. The house it's been filled with tragedy, and this is all verifiable.
Yeah, and I think one thing we should mention, me and Adam were in the main room. Well, no, I guess that would be considered the dining room kind of type of thing. Anyways, where we set up all our stuff. So me and Adam are talking, and Patty and Laura were outside talking to Bear, and we were inside. I think I was getting a battery or I was doing something. Anyways, there was a cabinet about 8 feet away from me. No, maybe not 8, maybe 6 feet away from me.
About 6.
And it's got glass doors. Well, all of a sudden, the door started shaking like it was trying to be open. And I looked at it, Adam looked at it, and we go, did that just happen?
This is before we started.
Of course, we didn't have our camera going because we were still setting up. But that cabinet something was literally trying to open it up. And it was shaking. Yeah. Now, we tried to debunk it. And so I started walking in the spot because I was, which didn't make sense because I was standing still. Yeah, so was Adam. So I went close to the cabinet and started jumping up and down. That's when the cabinet would shake.
But not as
only when I did that. And of course, I wasn't doing that when we were talking. I wasn't jumping up and down. But the cabinet just started like something was trying to open it. And it was so cool. That moment was really cool. Like we were even downstairs in the basement, and we were in one room, and I believe Patty was beside me. I can't recall, but all of a sudden I heard what sounded like chains, like a chain clinking together. Yeah. And then this one room, and I put it up on Twitter where you see all the axes and stuff like that. There's actually a chain hanging from the wall, and Patty tried to recreate that noise, and that's the exact noise I heard.
Exactly what he heard, yeah.
And it, like we were getting all kinds of voices downstairs. Like even at one moment, I think Bear was talking, and I heard a little girl scream.
Yeah,
just a scream.
Yep.
And it was like, did you guys hear that? Like, I don't know if anybody else heard it, and I'm hoping that we caught it on the camera, but just a little girl screaming. Could it have been Mary Elizabeth screaming for her life when she was, when she caught on fire, and recreating that moment. Maybe she's like living that moment all the time.
It's like a residual.
Yeah, like a residual. Yeah. And I tell you one thing that I really didn't like in that whole place, and I'll be honest, I had a real problem with all the mannequins.
Yes.
Yeah. 1000%.
Especially the one laying in the bed.
Oh,
I know.
Which bed are you talking about? The bed on the far end where
in the secret room? In the gal's room. Her head looked like it was
room. Yeah,
unnaturally turned.
The one that he said that he told the story that mannequin keeps falling off the chair.
Jessica.
And that room, there's a mannequin in that room, and its head, it's got like a bandage on its head. But if you step away from that, and if you're a good 5 or 6 feet away, it looks real.
It does look real. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I'm a very what is the word? I feel bad. Like I can't see stuff like somebody in pain or somebody, you know what I mean? Somebody dead or something. It just bothers me. I can't. I could never be a nurse. I could never be a doctor. There's just no way.
Yeah.
But to see that from that distance, it did look like a real person, and my heart I felt sad. Like, oh, it's just a mannequin, Patty. It's just a mannequin,
But if they only did paranormal tours, the mannequins wouldn't be there. But you can actually stop by there and for $5 whole.
Yeah,
that's all they charge. $5.
$5, to see
go
the whole
through the
place.
museum and for them to tell you about this place. They are so reasonably. I would pay $20.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that just walking through that place on the tour, you are going to experience something.
Yeah,
you were definitely going to experience something because we were experiencing things throughout the whole house on that tour.
Yeah,
and you know, and you know, even before the tour, we were experiencing stuff with, like I said, that cabinet.
Yeah.
And I can't recall, there was something else that happened before the tour started.
The dragging noise in the basement.
The dragging noise in the
heard.
basement. Yeah, the dragging noise in the basement that Adam heard. It sounded like somebody was being dragged along the floor downstairs in the basement, and the place was crazy. But who I want to turn to next is the skeptic.
Uh-oh.
Walking into this place. And I'll get to Patty. I'm going to get to Patty in a minute. But what was your thoughts when you first arrived till the time you left?
I mean, I think just to be in a place like that with that much history is in and of itself kind of like a reward, basically. I think, you know, Bear's stories about the historical portions of that house, I mean, I felt like I could sit there. The longer we sat there and just talked to him off the cuff about stories or I asked a bunch of questions about some of the flags in the house because I was not great at history, you know, sort of tuned it out and let it go. But so I didn't pick up on things. I'm sure Adam, you know, master of all knowledge over there, you know, would know in a heartbeat. But just being on the grounds of it, I think was really interesting. It was to have a building that has been there that long. And I mean, sure, there were tons of huge cracks in the foundation and all around the inside of it and everything. But just to be kind of in the presence of something that historical and kept up so well. And I think talking with Bear and just you truly he had stories, I mean, even Bryan, you said about the stories in the yard and all of that.
Yeah, well,
you know, very outlandish. Yeah, you get to tune out at some point. But but just talking to him about his, I guess, I don't know, I'm trying to get the word, I guess devotion to a place like that. You know, they had rented it out just to people, just to try and, you know, get money in, you know, and they were renting it out $300 a month, but people would only stay in it for 2 to 4 weeks at a time because of, you know, things that they said, you know, had happened to them. And then he and his buddy had made the epiphany one day, let's turn it into a museum. I mean, I remember talking to him and just saying, like, that kind of mentality or that kind of drive to keep something in motion that has that much history to it is just so respectful, you know, because now you're allowing people to step inside of it for an hour at a time or a night at a time, and for like piddles on the dollar. I mean, $5 for a donation fee to tour it was kind of interesting, I think, because it shows that they're really in it for the historical presence and, you know, letting people experience it for nothing, basically. So I thought that was commendable. On the aspect of the paranormal, I don't know why I have such a hard time with it. I think it's just because I'm constantly trying to figure out things, the reasoning for things. You know, it's hard for me to just experience something and not understand it fully. I made a comment to somebody over the weekend about it kind of is the same as organized religion for me. I just there's no solid proof, so I have a hard time in the belief, I suppose. I guess that's where I have the hang up. But I can't come out of this week saying that I didn't see things that make me question what you all, you know, believe in and do. I came a little closer to it, I guess. I just want to know, like, well, how is that possible? You know, and like, why would that would this be made by any other thing? I guess I don't know. I don't know. I have such a hard time with it. But even before the tour, everybody was outside smoking. I don't think anybody was in the house. Bryan, you might have been in the dining room, where you guys set up all your equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
but I walked in the front door, and when you walk in the front door, like straight in front of you is the hall and the dining room. You can see all the doors were open, so the dining room is there, and off to the left is the parlor where they held funerals and where the men hung out. And in that room, there's a glass case that's right when you walk in the door. It's right there in front of you. And inside, Adam had found that the General Lee had his war mask, right? Isn't it a war mask? Death mask. Okay, so that's in there. And there's like countless of other trinkets, historical, items. And I walked in, and I kind of looked, and then kind of just, like in passing, I looked in the dining room, and I had to do a second glance to look back. It looked like something white, like a veil, had come up of the glass cabinet and back down again. Like as quick as, I don't know, a second or something, like maybe not even a second had passed. But it looked like it physically came up from the glass case and went back down. And so I looked over, and I looked in the dining room, and then I looked back because I was like, wait a minute, did I just see what I saw? I backed up and kind of looked outside again because I was just crossing the threshold of the front door. And I backed up, and I kind of turned around and then looked again and walked forward to see if it was just a play on the light with the glass or something like that. And it didn't do it again. I mean, I can't explain that. I tried to redo it, but it didn't do it again. So I can't say for certain, but I think, and there was another, they found a pistol in the floorboards, and I went up to look at it later after I had the discussion with Bear, and I heard a click when I walked closer to it. And they found, it wasn't like the click of a gun cocking or anything like that. And it wasn't, I made sure to, all of the security cameras they had in the house, they were motion detected. So if you walked by them, you would hear like a, sound of it catching the motion.
Yeah.
It wasn't that sound. So it was kind of like your thing with the clinking downstairs. It wasn't the clinking of Bear's bells that he wore, because he jingled them, and I know you both said nope, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
So those two things, I don't know. I mean, I can't explain them. I don't know the answer for it, but I'm still like, I don't know if that's enough for me. I want somebody to, knock me on the shoulder or something. Or
you didn't see the you didn't see the footage. You didn't see the footage yet that we found downstairs. You were in bed, and Adam has it. If he can find it, he can show it to you. But we captured what looks like to be an apparition downstairs while we went into the first room downstairs.
When you were recording.
When you were recording, holding my camera, and Adam was down on the EMF there. And I'll be honest, we got the EMF going off quite a bit that night, and answering questions, and
very intelligent. Saying please stop,
so,
and it would stop right, and then go
exactly.
I don't want to give away too much because so
much happened.
Yes, so much happened there, especially when we sat there at the end in the parlor, and I decided that that this was the pedophile. I have no respect. I don't care if you're alive or dead for a pedophile. And you saw what happened. That hadn't happened all night when I don't want to say I guess that's basically I antagonized it, because once again, there's no room for you in life, much less in death. But that was just intense right there. Not to mention when we all did the master bedroom.
Yeah. Hey, Heather.
Hi. Like when we did the master bedroom, we all heard what we heard. We all
saw what we saw. For sure.
Saw what we saw. And as soon as, just like with a flick of a switch, it just quit right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And that place, to me, is probably one of the most interesting places I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to figure, 20, how many years have I been actually taking this seriously? About 24. I really started taking it as serious as possible at about 16. So 23, 24 years. And to have this place in my backyard. And
I know you're lucky to live so close to that place. I would be
I'm
going
gonna
there
be
all the
going
time.
back. I'm going to be going back as much as I can before y'all come back to try and kind of like with Raymond. I imagine the spirits at Bobby Mackey's have some sort of relationship with you. They know you. They've gotten used to you.
Yeah.
I want to do the same thing with Octagon Hall. Try and build some sort of relationship with them to where maybe we get, I mean, it's not like we didn't get a lot of activity that night, but maybe it just goes up tenfold.
Yeah, I kept seeing things out of the corner of my eye the whole time we were there. You know how you'll see something in your peripheral and you'll turn and there's nothing there. That happened to me a lot there. A lot.
So with that, Patty, what are your opinions on the whole place?
Well, for one, when we first pulled up to it, I don't know if you guys remember my reaction. I got so excited about come up out of the seat and about ready to crawl out the window before we could even get in the driveway. I was like, oh my God, this place is beautiful. I can't wait. Oh, I was getting excited, because just looking at it, it was just an amazing sight to look at. You could, the history, I mean, it's old, 1848, I believe it was built. But I got real excited when we pulled down that long drive to go in there. I could just feel it, like, oh, I can't wait to get inside. I was real excited. The history of it, like Laura was saying, and just being there in such a historical place where so much has happened, and kind of feeling it. You can kind of feel, being empathic, you can feel things. You can feel the sadness, the happy. I was telling Laura and Vicky both, I said, wouldn't it be great if we could just go back in time, take a step back and just look at how they lived and what their lives were like, and, and just stuff like that. It'd be great if we had a window or something we could just take a peek, and just really see everything. But it was just an amazing place. And it was just great to go there. I to be honest with you, I hadn't heard a whole lot about the place until Adam started telling me about it, and I started reading up on it. It's in the next state over from where my family, my mom's parents, were born, and they're buried over in the next town over. County, yeah.
So do you have a personal experience during the night that you would like to share?
Yeah, my leg got grabbed. I felt like my leg got touched at one point. And then or wait, was that at Bobby Mackey's?
That was Bobby
Mackey's.
That's right. You're right. All right. I'm trying to remember. God. There were several little things, nothing really over the top, but just little things like just hearing noises. Like when me and Vicky went downstairs, we kept hearing stuff. Plus we kept hearing that cricket. That cricket followed us from room to room. I was waiting for it to jump on my camera lens, but just seeing things out of the corner of my eye. I'm just hoping that when I watch the footage back, because I've got hours of footage, I'm hoping that the camera actually picks something up. But hearing things, little sounds. I thought I heard whispers a few times as just walking by, and I thought I heard somebody and there was nobody there. Stuff like that. But I just got a really good feeling about the place. I didn't feel anything bad there. It just felt good. I didn't want to leave. I was tired. I wanted to go get some sleep, but you know what I mean. I could definitely do a whole weekend there, as long as I can get some rest in between. I think a whole weekend there would be amazing, and just set up cameras, everywhere.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
You want to ask?
And I
You want to
agree.
ask anything?
Oh.
Sorry. Go ahead, Laura.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I agree with Patty on that. I didn't feel, I mean, I know Adam had experiences there before in the, I don't know, the farm weapon room or whatever that room was, the tack room. But I didn't feel, even after hearing stories of like the pedophile or, the soldiers who may not have been so wonderful, I never felt even in my skepticness, I never felt like a heavy feeling. I never felt I know you guys had in the downstairs kitchen when you guys got choked up and hard to breathe, but I never felt, I guess, in danger there. I never felt, it felt more of like a learning curve. I don't know. It felt more of, maybe they want to come and talk and maybe they don't, but I never felt like it needed to be a scary place. And I know everybody has their own kind of experience, and I'm sure like animals, people pick up, people are more sensitive to things than others. But when Bear had the discussion about the back barn, the barn you're not supposed to go into, I kept calling it the LSD barn because he said they found people laying out by the barn and not knowing who they were, where they came from or whatever. But I'm sure all I could picture was like, oh, there's meth heads out there and they're gonna like inject us with something, that's what I was picturing in my brain. But I don't know whether it be the sheepdogs keeping us safe with their warning barks or just the general feel. I never felt in danger there. I never felt like, and I think if there is this truth in all of the paranormal or whatever, for as many bad souls that are trapped somewhere or still waiting to cross or whatever the case may be, I guess I would have to believe that there would be good souls out there trying to protect you from those people. And so I don't know if that's, if that's something, if there's little kids trapped in that house and can't cross over for whatever reason, and there's bad people also in there. I mean, I guess you would have to believe in both, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it opened my mind a little bit, a little bit more. I'm not totally closed off to it because I think it's a little disrespectful to think we're the only element, alive and banging around. But but it was interesting I think the biggest takeaway for Octagon Hall for me was that they're not price gouging you. They want people to come and experience this in whatever element they want to experience it in, whether it be historical, paranormal, Airbnb-ing it, whatever. I don't know. It's not very comfortable Airbnb, but but
True.
I think that's a good message to kind of spin on, because I think sometimes, like you said, with the ones that overamp it up, I think that's kind of disrespectful to whatever is there. And I think it desensitizes people, and it probably helps people like me think, oh yeah, that could never happen, or that stuff you can't see off camera. And I think it almost hurts not just the paranormal community, but also everything else that it should stand for and be there. So
yeah, I agree. Lex, you want to ask anything?
No, I can't really think of one at the moment. I'm really looking forward to seeing these videos coming out there.
Raymond?
Yeah, we had 3 different members of Global Ghost Hunt there. Did anybody invite them to register?
Do what? What did he say?
At Octagon Hall, we had 3 different members of Global Ghost Hunt there. Did anybody ask them to register?
I did speak to Bear about it.
Okay. Just curious.
Okay.
Yeah. He knows about the Global Ghost Hunt.
Okay.
He knows. Thank you for pointing that out, Raymond.
You're welcome.
He was going to make sure somebody was held accountable.
Yeah,
that's right.
And
that's
I know Adam's going to go back, so Adam can talk to them again and get them signed up. So people, if anybody wants to investigate that place, you know what? Overall,
how far away from Ashland, Kentucky, or Franklin, Kentucky, are you, Raymond?
It's almost 5 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
overall, I think it was a tremendous experience
Mhm.
walking into a place and right off the get go, activity starting,
Yeah.
and by the time we were leaving, it was still going on,
Yeah.
and it was almost like it was nonstop throughout the whole night.
Mhm.
The EMF meter that Adam had going in most of all the rooms, we would ask a question and it would go off. We would say stop and it would stop, and
Mhm.
it's just and I got the same feeling as well. There's nothing other than that pedophile that was there. I didn't really sense anything bad. I sensed, for me personally, I sensed a lot of sadness,
Mhm.
and a lot of people that died there and
Yeah.
went there for a safe haven as well.
Yeah.
And there, to me, it was just a lot of sadness, and
Mhm.
and it almost felt at one point in the middle of the night that they wanted to communicate. They wanted to talk to us. They
Mhm.
wanted to. I don't know if it's necessarily help that they wanted, but it's almost like they want to be known,
Yeah.
and they want to get their story across, and they can't, obviously, maybe in certain aspects here and there, if you're doing an SB7 or something like that, and they might say, say sad or something like that, or trying to get their story across. I just felt a lot of
Yeah.
sadness
I
in
did
that
too.
place, and it's very thick. It's very thick when you walked in. When I walked into the door, the first thing I felt was, and I said it going up the stairs, I said I felt my head was being
Mhm.
compressed,
Yep.
and I walked through the door and I felt sadness right away. And
Mhm.
then finding out all this history, and then finding out a little girl died because of, an amber coming out from the fire, hitting her dress and setting her, and she was set on fire. It was
11
just
Yeah.
years
like,
old.
it's
Breaks
just
my
so
heart.
much. Yeah, it's just so much
Yeah.
sadness in that house. But I still truly believe that they're trying to get people to know their story, their personal story. And there was one moment when I was upstairs, and I can't remember who was with me. I don't think anybody was with me, but that door that Bear told us about, where the 4 mannequins are, that door started jiggling.
I was
And
sitting there, and it did that to me as well.
okay, so it's
Mhm.
just, I don't know. I just, if I were to recommend any place that I've been to up to this point, Octagon would probably be one of the top
Mhm.
places to go to, because you get activity from the moment you walk in till the
Mhm.
moment you leave that
Mhm.
place. And for
Yeah.
14 and a half hours we were there. Normally I think it's from 4 till 7 you're allowed there,
4
but
p.m.
because
to
he
7.
gave us a few more hours, but it's $300. It's worth
Yeah.
every single penny if you're looking for history,
Yeah.
paranormal, and capturing something.
Yeah.
You're going to
Which
get
is
it at this place.
which
And
is something you're not gonna get at Bobby Mackey's, because they were walking in the door at 12:01 to make sure we were ready to get out.
Oh.
Yeah,
and the thing
yeah,
is, I think
Oh.
you could honestly, it needs more than just that 14 and a half hours of
Yeah.
investigating, because I think every time you go back, you're going to find something different, because we didn't even go to the barn
Yeah.
No.
that we were
All the
allowed to go
grounds,
to.
the 2 cemeteries, the old slave house where that fireplace was. I mean,
Yeah,
I just walked right past that. I played with dogs
Yeah.
down the cemetery.
So
But
everybody's because we're coming close to the end of the show. So I'd like everybody's thoughts on briefly, just your thoughts on Octagon Hall. We'll start with Patty. Go ahead, Patty.
Oh God, you caught me in a yawn. Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, Well, I loved it, and I would definitely go back. If you want a paranormal experience and something that's very historical, beautiful, beautiful piece of property. There's a cemetery out back and the barn, all that stuff. If you want a good experience, I would definitely go to Octagon Hall. Not so much Bobby Mackey's. Don't waste your money. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just keeping it real.
And Adam, what are your final thoughts on Octagon Hall? I'm going to get to you, Raymond, so don't worry.
So, being that I've been to both places and I unfortunately didn't make the trip with you all this go around, Octagon Hall, it's just such a huge piece of history, and like Patty said, you've got the beautiful scenery, you've got the actual history that's there, the documented history, the paranormal that starts before you, it's going on as you're pulling up, and it's like you walk into it, and your bang for your buck, you can't beat it. And I'm going to be going back there, until y'all come back, and I'm going to be doing some follow-ups. I mean, I can't not. That place was too much.
And $300, and with 6 of us, so we split it. So it was $60 a piece. You can't beat that.
Yeah. And Laura, your final thoughts on Octagon Hall?
I mean, I liked it. I would go back. I have to go back. I told Bear I would make him some cookies. So
there you go.
I'll be making them some Octagon Hall cookies.
Awesome.
I think Pecan Sandy was the winner, although he said he was equal opportunity cookies.
Oh, I like those. I like those too.
But I think it's definitely worth going back and seeing. It opened my eyes. I mean, it really did. Because even when you were leaving, Bryan, and you and Adam were talking about the flashlight, or maybe it was Patty. I don't know. Somebody had the flashlight that had the UV color, the purple color. And so now it makes me interested to be able to play with, I don't know, paranormal toys, and talk to. I mean, even just listening, I think it's interesting to learn. So, but Octagon Hall, I think it's a good little space. You have all of that, the whole grounds you get to just play around in, and I think they're on a good mission to keep it active, keep it alive. So that's just
I agree.
important. I think to help spread it around.
Definitely, most definitely. Just to answer this, they do have security cameras that run 24 hours a day. And what's great is during your investigation, if you maybe catch something and you want to get validation, they will actually give you that piece of footage to use if you want to use it in your video or whatever. So they have, I think there was
16 cameras,
16 cameras and running and nonstop. So because there was something that happened during the night that I know Adam wants to get, and it's just a matter of writing down the time. If you're watching the cameras, they actually have a notepad there or a pad of paper with a pen. If you're watching those cameras and you see something, you write down the time, the camera, and they will give you that piece of footage. Which is amazing, and worth every single penny. And to get into that place, because you're going to get obviously you might walk into that place one night, you might only get a few things. You might walk into it another night, you might get a crap load of things. So Raymond, I would like to get your final thoughts, not about Octagon Hall, your final thoughts on Bobby Mackey's.
Well, even before Bobby Mackey's, Octagon Hall is on my list. It's always been on my list. So hopefully I can make it down with Adam some point. And we can invest there. That'd be awesome. Like I said about Bobby Mackey's, it's a bar. Yes, there's something there, but and it's not always active for everybody, but I've always enjoyed it. Every time I've gone, it's always been fun. So I'm sure I'll go back. I probably won't pay the $600. I'll probably go with an event, but because $100 is a little bit better than $6, but still,
That's a lot.
I agree. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, and I've said this right from the beginning, I love paranormal investigations, but what I love the most is I got to meet you all. I said it on purpose, by the way, just to let you know. You all. I met you all, and that's Octagon Hall was great. Bobby Mackey's was great because of the rich history, but meeting all of you and then having the opportunity to investigate with you guys, that's what I'm going to remember the most. And the great host of Laura and Adam and Brody as well, because Brody was a great host.
Oh, I know it. He's so sweet.
The dog is it's an amazing dog. I want to thank Vicky as well. Brody. It was amazing to meet her, and obviously Jeff and Bear, who gave us the tour. But I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for making my trip that much better. And that meant a lot, and that's something I'm always going to remember. The places are great, but it's the people that you meet that you're going out on investigations with. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
And it was an amazing 4 days. I wish it could have lasted another few days.
I know.
Right. I wish I could have went the second night.
Yeah, it would have been great. It would have been great, but maybe next time.
Definitely. Lex, stop talking so much.
What's that?
I said, Lex, stop talking so much.
Yeah.
Like not giving you any opportunities.
My daughter Heather wasn't here a minute ago, but I don't know if she might not be here now, but she was saying hello to everybody. I didn't know if you guys seen her or not.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I want y'all to know you're all welcome at my house anytime that you want. I don't want this to be the only time we investigate together, or we have to wait for a special event to investigate together. You all are welcome at Casa de Barton anytime.
Don't tell me that, Adam.
Come on down.
Hey, we have a guest room. It's all ready to go.
Guest rooms, very comfortable.
Morning, half lit, and partially naked. So don't tell me that.
What happens in the house stays in the house.
You know what? And if you stay in the room that I stayed, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can play some drums.
Yeah,
right.
Here we go. Let's hear some drunken drums. That'd be fun.
See, now you have something, Lex. Now you have something on Raymond. That little monkey thing.
I know, but I do that as well, though. So.
It gets worse. There you go.
But I want to say my goodbyes for being on today's show. I really appreciate you coming up. I know, Laura, this is not really your thing, but I appreciate you coming up and talking to us. But maybe you'll do a few more of these now that you're going to probably be part of Stand 2 Paranormal.
Yeah.
And you guys can be a tag team, meaning that he goes in trying to capture the evidence and you're trying to debunk it.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that role any day.
And it was a pleasure finally meeting Patty and Raymond. And it was definitely a lot of fun. We're going to be planning another trip maybe sometime in February.
Yeah, we're thinking February.
We're going to try to hit maybe a few places down there. I know that South Pittsburgh Hospital sounds pretty enticing, to be honest. So, but I want to say my goodbyes and thank you for coming on today's show. I really, really appreciate it.
Well,
Thanks for having
me.
Thank you for having me.
I was want to say it's a pleasure to meet you, Laura and Adam. This is the first for me, and again, it's lovely to see you, Patty. Raymond, you're
Good
fine.
To see you too.
But I'm kidding. It's good to see you as well.
You'll do.
I did want to say thank you for coming on here and telling us about what you guys were up to this week. I've been sat here waiting to hear from every time Bryan's posting. Like when I saw the pictures of you guys outside Bobby's, I was just like, damn, man, this is going to be cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the footage when you guys put it out. But again, thank you for coming up here and sharing the experience with us.
Thank you for
Maybe
having me.
eventually
Thank
you'll
you,
get to hang out with us in person.
It depends if America will let me in, you know. I keep on insulting their favorite people, so
Oh, come on. America lets everybody in. They just don't let
Yeah.
anybody out.
That's it.
Yeah, saying that I got stopped at customs and they questioned me a lot. So like normal. Every time I go to the States, they question me. What are you doing? Why filming what? Why do you do that? It was a never ending question. But I got
Damn,
there,
really?
and that's what
Just-
matters.
just
So-
tell them you're going on a what's it called, a pilgrimage, and
Yeah.
they won't say shit to you.
Really?
It's a religious
Never thought of it.
pilgrimage.
Religious.
There you go.
America's the most religious, well, most Christian country in the world, apparently. So just mention God, and they'll be fine. You mention ghosts, they get a bit mad about it. You mention God, they're like, go right on through, my friends.
Yeah. Welcome.
go
That's
find
hilarious.
enlightenment.
I never ever thought about that. Anyways, other
Well,
than
when
that,
I was at the airport, the Nashville airport, getting ready to fly home, I had a little bit of time to kill. Once I got in there, it was pretty quick, and I went to this little restaurant in there to eat, and they had a country singer in there singing some really. It sounded pretty
Oh.
good, actually.
Did you
Yeah.
go to Chewy's?
It might be Valerie. Valerie sings at the airport now.
It was a guy.
Oh,
Okay.
shoot.
Yeah, it was a guy.
Valerie's
He was,
also a guy's
he
name.
was really, really good. I can't remember what his name was, but he was actually really good. And the place was called the Red Dog or the Red something. I don't know.
Hmm.
But it was the best chicken sandwich I think I've ever had. I'm not even kidding you. I don't know what that sauce was that they put on there, but and the homemade tater tots, like big round tater tots. I mean, I couldn't even finish it all because I had to eat as much as I could, and I kept watching the clock, going, "Okay, I gotta go." It was right in front of my terminal too, which was nice.
Nice.
That's
Like
awesome.
literally, I could see, what they were
We're
doing
not-
over there. I'm like this, watching, going, "What are they doing?"
So I guess because my flight was like 3 or 4 hours earlier than you, and I walked by all those restaurants, and I never. Maybe he came on later on in the afternoon or something, but
Yeah, maybe.
But
Yeah.
maybe. But next time
was
I
at
will
Terminal-
try to get a later flight.
I was at Terminal 15. Which one were you at?
Oh, Terminal 15, yeah.
Really? Oh wow! It was right across from Terminal 15. It was a pretty good little place. Yeah,
okay.
it's right there.
Okay.
But they had
Cool.
several places to eat in there.
Cool. Well, again, thank you to everyone that came on today's show. I really, really appreciate it. We'll have you on again down the road for sure. Maybe not necessarily, Laura. Nah.
Thanks.
just-
I
Unless
actually thought you were going to say me. So
no. So I think
You're
you guys.
safe.
I think you guys need to get your group going. Stand to Paranormal, and you both go out and do investigations. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the one looking for the answers and the one trying to debunk the answers. It's be pretty cool. Anyways, everybody have a great rest of
you
the day.
too.
And I know you guys are an hour behind me, so
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
got
still got plenty of daylight left.
yeah, for sure. So anyways, everybody have a great rest of the day, and we'll definitely talk soon. Okay.
Okay.
Thank y'all
All
so
right.
much.
Take care, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
It was.
I
It was. I'm so looking forward to seeing, especially the Octagon Hall stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of that.
yeah, I'm gonna really, really struggle on putting a good video together for Bobby's, but put some music in. Hey, listen, it's not like we didn't catch anything at Bobby. We did catch stuff, and we caught stuff in the basement, and there was one moment, the famous video with Carl when they're in the back room and they're supposedly doing that seance.
Yeah.
We had cat balls on the tables, and I was about 20 feet away from a particular table with a cat ball on it. And I was just saying, is this the area where Carl did that seance? And then I looked to my left and the spirit ball went off.
Oh, nice.
So I turned and I filmed the spirit ball going off. And so it's not like nothing happened there. It's just there was stuff happening. It's just I don't think it is what they say it is. There's nothing. I don't personally myself. I don't think there's anything demonic there. There's absolutely nothing demonic there. I believe there's something there. Yes. But I don't believe there's anything demonic. And, Adam did show me a video that when he was there before, and it looks like a apparition. And it looks like an apparition of a child. Now, there is a story that there is a child downstairs in the basement. And it was cool. It was good. And, but other than that, I think it's just a place that has some activity. And I think a lot of it's because of the rich history and the amount of people that have gone through there. And that's all I think it is. And unfortunately, I think they're hyping it up to something to get people to book there. And because Ghost Adventures was there, Ghost Hunters were there, the big TV shows were there. And unfortunately, you got to take everything with a grain of salt with those shows, because as we know, most of those shows are embellishing stuff. Not so much Ghost Hunters anymore. I think Ghost Hunters is pretty legit now. They're actually looking for real evidence. I think there was a time during their shows they were embellishing stuff near the middle, not at the beginning, near the middle, but not now. And their videos are pretty legit. And so I will say that. But as we know, and we talk about this show many, many times, there's a lot of YouTubers and there's a lot of TV shows, Zach Baggins, a lot of TV shows out there that want to that want to fake stuff. And that's where I think that demonic and poltergeist and all those stupid things come from. So anyways, other than that, you have anything else you want to add before we take off?
No, just want to say thank you again to everyone who came in the chat today to see our lovely panel, and thank you for the guys for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, and everybody have a great rest of the day. We'll see you next week. We will have a surprise next week. We're going to have a guest, yes, but we're going to have a surprise at the end of the show. And so you're going to definitely want to check out that show. Other than that, again, everybody have a great rest of the day. And we'll definitely see you next week. Ciao, everyone.
Week.